no matter what's going on in your life, realize that the power of your belief is critical to your success.
Yes.
You're only hurting yourself if you don't believe and have the confidence in yourself to achieve something. If your body really biologically responds to your belief, you've got to take advantage of that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
You've got to truly believe it.
Yeah. Hello, Seb.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Good, thank you. A bit tired today.
Yeah.
A bit run down, but we're here anyway. How are you?
I'm bloody good, mate. I'm bloody good.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to complain about
Good.
right now. We're sat here in the very present moment. I'm here with you, and I've literally only just met you, like a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's so weird how we've got so many things in common.
I do find it very strange, and we can definitely dive into those.
That's striking.
Those areas. But first of all, yes, thank you for joining this podcast. It's essentially the first episode of Stories of a Salient, where we share the lives and experiences of men from all walks of life in order to inspire and educate other men. You mentioned that you grew up in the countryside.
Yeah.
I've always been in London, in cities. What was that like for you?
Very isolating, because the nearest shop or the nearest pub or anything, half an hour walk,
Well,
at least, to get there. You had to walk through some woods in order to get to there.
Wow.
And even so, it was like this tiny little sweet shop. It literally only sold sweets at the time. And it's where I did my paper round, actually, every week. Every day of every week for a few years. And that in itself, if we go into it really deep already, required such a profound amount of discipline to wake up at the same time every day before school and do.
So when did you start this paper round?
Like 11, 12.
I see.
Yeah.
And did you find that it created a lot of discipline and routine?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just waking up at the same time every day of like 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember sometimes the light on my bike didn't even work. Right. So I was pedaling through the woods, pitch black. And I was thinking, fuck this. This is shit. So I guess from a very, very young age, I really had to learn that I'm the only person that's going to be out there for me, you know?
As a young man, you learn that you have to go through some uncomfortable experiences.
Damn right.
And it became second nature almost.
Yeah.
Just routine.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And did you feel, so you mentioned the countryside was quite isolating. Did you find that affected you in any way mentally, or did you have an awareness of like an outside world at the time, or what was going on at the time?
At the time, I was diagnosed with autistic spectrum disorder, which I still have, but I'd like to think I've cured it with the use of various different psychedelic drugs, which have changed my brain chemistry a little bit, so to speak. Without going into a victim mentality, which I'd like to talk about quite a lot, it did make things very difficult for me to understand social situations, and when with friends or with family, I found it very hard to pick up on social cues and other things like that. So, yeah.
Did you know this was happening early on? Or like at what point, after I presume there might have been some sort of experiences that might have led to this diagnosis, or even seeing a doctor in the first place.
So it started with my mum, and she was like, "You can't look at people in the eye. Why don't you look at people in the eye?" And it's been since a very, very young age that I never looked at the camera when it was taking a photo of me. And I found it very difficult to maintain eye contact. But I understand how important eye contact is now. So that's why I make it. But it still to this day makes me feel slightly uncomfortable for whatever reason.
I think that's natural for some reason. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Although I know you mentioned before we're quite similar.
Yeah.
I do wonder if I should go out and get myself tested as well, just in case I have something similar as well.
It does bring with it a lot of benefits. So you'll find that you'll have an innate drive for things, which you definitely do. And almost like interests that you really must pursue until you know everything about.
What innate drive did you find you had, like what kind of activities whilst you were young, if any at the time?
This is hilarious, mate, because me and you have the same story.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? You were selling sweets or, counterfeit.
Let's hear it from
Pirated.
me first. But yeah, counterfeit products as well. But I started off selling ebooks on eBay and selling pirated games. But I gave up at one point. But let's hear from you first, then I'll share my part.
Okay. So I was selling sweets out of my rucksack for the God knows how long. But it literally got a little bit out of control where everyone was, I had the longest list of people that owed me money. And it got to a point where nobody used to go to the canteen anymore. And they made an entire assembly out of it. You know, the assemblies where people gather. And they were like, this has got to stop. You know, you must, we're now banning sweet selling in the school indirectly at me. And you must go to the canteen. And
wow. So that school, I feel like their approach to that situation is kind of reflective of how society is in some ways, because they didn't like what you were doing and that you were out competing like the state-controlled system.
Yeah.
And they try to shut you down just like that. Competition is always a good thing. It benefits the end consumer, which in your case was fellow students who presumably were getting cheaper sweets.
Yeah, much
from,
cheaper.
Someone they actually trust. Now it's putting them out of business.
God knows what was in the canteen burgers, mate.
Yeah.
Probably rats. I literally ate that from there a couple of times, but I actually saved my canteen money every week because I didn't want to eat there anyway. It was like £20 a week, and that's just, where it all began as well. But you're absolutely bloody right about the state control thing. And I never thought about that until now. So that's so interesting. It just shows like how people in minority have almost no power whatsoever. But the people in the higher echelons of power,
the institutions, effectively.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. Nice analogy.
I do like to believe that we have control, though. Like I know you also believe in the external and internal locus of control theories. I think as men, it's very important to believe that you have control over your life because it is our responsibility to take care of the ones around us. And if you don't believe you have control, you're always going to be hoping someone else is going to take that responsibility for you. So it's a very powerful thing to believe, I think. And so you went from selling sweets and saving your lunch money. How did your, let's say your high school, secondary school career progress from there?
I'm going to go back to what you just said previously about external and internal locus. So funny, mate. Because you see all these videos online, and I think that you posted one on your the SALIENT'S Instagram, and it was someone who had complete lack of control over their emotions, and I found it so funny that because they lost such control, they had no control over their mind whatsoever. They ran up to this car and banged on the window several times, and they can make like a song out of it because it was just so fun. It's so funny. And that person clearly had no understanding or no control over their emotions whatsoever, that they decided to run up to a car and bang on someone's window. That just shows like the level of knowing thyself is so scarce in those kind of people.
They end up becoming a meme. Like even today, I keep seeing videos on TikTok of that video, people turning it into songs, in their car. And I'm like, you're now an internet celebrity as a result. But again, it highlights a very important issue, which is, traditional forms of masculinity. They advocate for emotional control and discipline. It takes time to learn this, I think. When you're young, you're like, you can be very erratic, very reactionary to things that happen in your environment. But as you get older, I think as a man, it's a good thing to learn to control your emotions and discipline them, because it leads to these scenarios where you've let yourself go, and now you become a meme. You know, and I think there's a lot of power in learning to control your emotions. You know, just headstrong, nothing can get you down.
Yeah.
Acknowledge your emotions. It's okay to feel something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't let them like overtake you. And I'm
Absolutely.
sure you experienced that as well with your diagnosis.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not unusual to feel, and it's not a bad thing to feel negative emotions. We all will. Like we experience 1,000, 2,000 emotions every day. And that just goes to show that none of them are permanent. Whereas some people believe that they're permanent. And because they believe they're permanent, that's when things start to go wrong. So they can be like, oh, I'm so sad. I'm so fucking depressed. And this is never going to end.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, I'm fucking going to die. Whereas if they really understood that emotion is going to last for like 10 seconds or maybe 2 hours at most, they'll be fine with it. It's like meditation, right? We learn to embrace those emotions and view them going by like a sailing ship or like a leaf down a river. Any emotion that comes, even happiness doesn't last for ages, even like fulfillment or gratitude does not last forever. It just sails by, and that's fine. Nothing's permanent. Impermanence.
Interesting. I never kind of viewed it like that, but knowing that, even your emotions are temporary can give you some sort of peace.
Definitely.
Knowing that, okay, whatever I'm feeling, I don't have to feel this way the entire time I'm existing.
Yeah.
Do you think depression is real? What are your thoughts?
It's such an Andrew Tate question, isn't it?
It is.
Oh no, he talks about how he doesn't think it's real. I've experienced it, but that's because I believed in it at the time, and I took SSRIs and other fucking terrible drugs like that. And ever since going through that terrible period in my life where I really didn't understand anything about myself whatsoever, that's when I know I will never reach that sort of low point ever again. And I'll be absolutely fine from here on in. So anything that somebody throws at me, it's not going to affect me anymore, mate.
Yeah, because now you know yourself so well that you know where you're going.
Yeah, mate.
Nothing is going to kind of distract you from that. You have purpose.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. In my opinion, depression, I don't know whether it's real or not. All I know is that you can ask someone who's starving in another part of the world if depression is real. It won't even cross their minds,
Yeah.
Or someone who's going to walk outside their house and, a bomb's going to be dropped over their heads. You can ask them what depression is. But for me, I've been in very low places as well.
Yeah.
I know you've had negative thoughts as well. I've had those too. But I believe that if you're a man who has purpose in their life, something that they want to achieve, and people that you want to, take care of and look after, it becomes very difficult to become that vulnerable where you start to lose your mental faculties and fall into a trap. I say that as a 30-year-old man. I don't know what life would be like if I'm 60 years old, 70 years old, potentially lying on my deathbed, questioning my entire life and regretting things. I don't know what I'd be feeling. But as a young man, that's currently my viewpoint on depression.
It's a really good view.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah.
But I like, because I know you mentioned meditation was very important in you to kind of collect yourself. How did you come across meditation, and what was your journey through that?
I'll go straight into it, mate, if you want. So I was at a point where I was about to, kill myself. And I had pills on the table ready to do it. And I really just thought, fuck, this is, I'll fucking just end it now, But then something clicked inside me. I went for a run, came back, and I was like, what can I do to get myself out of the situation I've got myself into? It was a very, very low point. And think of it like Batman trying to get out of this fucking pit that he's got himself into within, what's that film called? Bane, where he's in Bane, and he's trying to get out from the very top. and there's a last leap that he has to make.
Oh yes, that
You know?
cave.
Yes.
The Dark Knight, isn't it? The movie.
Yes, yeah. And he makes the last leap, and that was my very last leap. It was either kill myself or do something about it. And I was like, right, meditation. Okay, I'm living in a reptilian brain right now, which is very much focused on future and past events that I'm really worried about, or got myself into a cycle of being very, very worried about. One, I just focus on the present. At the time, I had no idea what the present meant. I was like, what the fuck is the present moment?
Like your perception of reality
right now
was confused a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking, what were the scenarios and events that led up to your contemplation of suicide?
There's a few, right? So there was one which I really can't go into for legal reasons.
I see.
Right.
Yes, I know.
And maybe in the future we can talk about that, but right now,
the event,
eventually, when that's over. And there was another one which involved a serious amount of money that was lost through leverage trading, right? Like on cryptocurrency platforms. And I guess loss of friends or anyone close to me within that time, and I blocked everyone out completely. So the pillars that we're talking about in terms of having a purpose, I had zero purpose at the time. I had zero support group at the time. I had no money. And I was living off the food bank every week. It was so funny. On benefits and the food bank.
Sure, it's not funny.
It was at the time, mate. Really? Yeah. I was like that. I was literally laughing about it almost, saying, "In one day, I'm going to look back and laugh on this." But actually, right at the very, very beginning, it was fucking shit. But when I began to work through it, I was like thinking in my mind, this is going to be so funny when I look back on this, saying that I was actually living off the food bank. And I know that I'm never going to live like that ever again.
That is a very, actually, uniquely inspiring message, because what you're saying is that when you're going through really difficult circumstances, you have to remember that one day in the future, you'll be looking back on those circumstances and laughing about it.
Definitely.
And that can help you get through those situations.
It's the only thing that did. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, one of the only things I did. Yeah.
What was the other thing?
Focus and drive, like sheer determination.
Get out of the hole.
Yeah. Sheer determination. It was quite profound, like the discipline that was formed just from that very, very moment. And I guess it's because you have literally no option.
You had no one to count on. You had to just either you survive, or that was it. It's over.
It's all over.
It's a very unfortunate tale for a lot of men, at even very young ages. They either make it or they don't. But this is the mindset that we have to realize. Like the life of a man entails, you either make it or you don't. And there's no time to waste almost. You either succeed. Why is it that why was it that the loss of the money, made you feel down? It's because as a man, we need to collect resources so that we can take care of the ones that we care about. It's not just about, vanity, greed.
Absolutely.
It's very meaningful money to us. In the past, people have said, "Oh, Saj, why are you chasing money? It doesn't give you happiness."
No.
Well, it does give. To the degree, it gives you happiness.
Yeah.
Because you can take care of business. You can take care of the ones around you.
Yeah.
People are comfortable. For me, I'm I'm a simple man. I don't buy expensive things, really. I just like to know that I have money to take care of, other people in my life.
Those closest to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. People that rely on you, or will rely on you. You want to be able to retire your parents who looked after you through the ages of 0 to 18.
They've been through so much shit.
Yeah.
Have to give back.
Exactly. Imagine being taken from your entire life and nothing's been... That's what drives me as well, is taken from them... You've taken from them your entire life. Why the fuck would you not give back?
Yes, absolutely. It's almost like a duty to always be thinking about your family who've worked so hard. who sacrificed so much to raise you. You know, life is an incredible opportunity for everyone. You know, if you think about it, the chances of us even being here is extremely rare or almost impossible. And we cannot be sad about that.
No.
For the opportunity that we've been blessed with. And people can say, oh, well, I didn't ask to be born. You know, I've heard that before.
What the fuck? No, you've never. I never asked to be alive before.
Yeah, I've heard this before. And
Are you serious, man?
Yeah, and it's just be grateful.
Yeah.
When your parents sacrifice so much, try and give back to them, respect them. You know, and also, you know, people have issues with their parents. You know, no one teaches you how to be a parent. You know, mistakes can be made, and you know, you have to be forgiving of the people around you if things haven't gone to plan, in essence, and realize, again, back to our point about control, that you can take control when you're a certain age and you realize, I'm going to take control now and make my world a better place for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
You went to university to study biology and immunology, pharmacokinetics, and pharmacodynamics. What on earth are those things?
All for a bit of paper with a certificate on, basically. No, they were... so biology is the study of living organisms, and then immunology, pharmacodynamics, and pharmacokinetics is to do with the interactions of drugs. Drug-to-drug interactions.
I see.
Essentially. And then there was also some immunology in there as well, so it was very good to learn about, because it was... Then came COVID, basically. And then automatically realised, right, this is complete bullshit if they're making a vaccine within... What, a year? It's not even tested.
So
great.
Interesting. So then I can ask a question about that then. So you think that period was rushed?
Oh my God, mate. If we look at any sort of clinical trial taking place, and the cover-ups by the FDA and the EMEA that were so-called controlling this drug. Yeah.
Okay.
It was hilarious, the herd sort of mentality everyone had, right? You've experienced it. We've all experienced it before.
Yeah.
So you even mention even the slightest fact of, the coronavirus is, vaccine doesn't work, and then everyone attacks you.
Mob mentality.
They're like, "Fuck you! We don't want you. Fuck off, you crazy fuck!
Yeah,
you're completely insane. You're completely crazy." And I'm like, right, okay. You think what you want to think. I don't want to take this shit.
It's very interesting how there isn't much skepticism in a lot of people. By default, everyone's very trusting of authority.
Why? Why?
It's interesting. Presumably, you're not vaccinated then, because I'm not either.
No.
Yeah. Again, we're similar in that regard too, because everyone around me was vaccinated, and they were like, "Sad, just take a vaccine."
Yeah.
But I just, like you said, the herd mentality, that made me suspicious. How quickly the media was up, to communicate things that are terrible right now. That also made me suspicious, because I always thought the media would be doing opposite of what was happening, which is trying to calm people down. If it was really serious, they'd be trying to calm us down.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious to us. Yeah. About how bullshit the media is. How Putin basically cured COVID, for example.
I heard this.
Putin cured COVID. Where's COVID now? Since the war.
The Ukraine war. Yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
And then all this other bullshit about, I heard, because I don't watch the news, mate, it's absolute fucking bullshit. Yeah. I saw, or I heard about, through a friend, about this submarine and people died. So what?
Yeah.
Why do I need to know about that? No one needs. Imagine waking up in the morning and that's the first thing that you hear: people died on a submarine, or like a mother's lost her child, and now.
Yeah.
Imagine waking up to that. It's like so negative, and just by default, the rest of your day is just going to be filled with more and more negativity because you started your day with negativity.
I completely agree. We are programmable by nature, by what we see in the media. Why expose ourselves to these things? I think as a man, it's so important I think this is why a lot of men end up being skeptical, or even like conspiracy theorists, because we're naturally skeptical of what the media show us. We've learned to be distrustful. We've learned to kind of try to verify, not trust, because we're the ones who are responsible for our families and the communities. We want to make sure that what we do is in their best interest. And if we're hearing information from outside sources, we want to make sure that we can trust that information. Yeah, so we tend to just naturally try to think more about these events that have taken place recently.
We always question things, you and I,
Yeah.
and you really hope that the rest of the male population does. However, seeing people as I walk down the street, it really does make me question whether that is actually the case.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away people's sovereignty in any way, but seeing the kind of horrors that I see, as I walk down the street of, say, London or Brighton, and I really do feel for these people because they haven't really experienced anything throughout their entire lives.
I mean, in terms of, say, autonomy and critical thinking?
Yeah.
Those kind of skills, yeah.
Yeah. So they've begun to believe in things like, I'll identify as a cat or I'll identify as a whale.
Yeah.
Because they are going with this almost social norm that we've been indoctrinized by,
Yeah. It's very strange times, because on one hand, I think the skill of critical thinking is becoming more and more important.
Yeah.
And on the other hand as well, social media is giving a platform to certain minority groups which are very loud and vocal. And it makes it seem like that they're a representation of society as a whole, when the rest of us are very quiet and just going about our day. And this whole issue about gender identity, I think, is actually quite a big challenge for humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
It takes a few steps to get there.
Yeah.
But it is my belief that our biological sex, yes, is the reason why we kind of socialize a gender. We derive our gender from our biological sex. However, our gender is what creates or provides us with a set of roles and responsibilities, and in a way for us to act. It teaches us how to act. If you're a man, this is what you're supposed to do. If you're a woman, this is what you're supposed to do. And that creates order in society. However, when people start having complete freedom to now label themselves as whatever they want, now the question in my mind is, okay, now what is your responsibility to society and what is your role? How do you fit in this puzzle? If that is not clear, then there's no order in society. And gender is so important, I think, overall. We're having a lot of issues these days. Women are, going into their 30s single. Men are going through their 20s without any sexual experiences. And it's very strange times. People aren't, forming connections. And in a way, it's like we're going through this transitory period in humanity where people can see like AI on one hand and, we're becoming genderless as a species. And it's all very strange. I'm not sure where I'm going with this.
No, I see where you're going with it.
Becoming machine-like in a way.
It sometimes seems like that. We could almost relate it to NPC.
Yes.
Right? And the majority of us are bystanders, and we don't really form any sort of opinion whatsoever. We just go with whatever the media says, or whatever, your friends are saying, because you don't want to be excluded from the group, and you have no bravery or any individuality to be able to say or stand up for yourself. I know some people might think that way.
Yeah, there's always a degree of conformity that everyone has to experience if you want to be part of the group. I think women more so than men. A man who's very determined to get to a certain location, certain destination in his life, is less likely to be willing to conform for the sake of it. At a certain point, you started building your body and train like a madman, in your words. What inspired that?
That was a breakup.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of the first breakups of my life.
Yeah.
That was with a really beautiful girl at the time. And, it's so funny because you just start absolutely smashing the gym, thinking that external validation is the most important thing that you can get. Whereas as you start to age, external validation becomes less of a thing, and you just start, as you age, you get less and less compliments and whatever. That's the real big thing for women. I'm not sure if it is for men, because as men age, apparently they just get better looking as they get older, and then women decline from the age of 18.
It's an unfortunate, harsh reality of the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, but
Yeah. But I think naturally we develop characteristics that make us more manly as we age. Well, you'd like to think so. The masculine population, let's just say.
What kind of characteristics do you think are valued in men as they kind of get older? I have a few thoughts. I think one is financial stability and the ability to access resources. I think biologically or by nature's design, we were built differently, generally speaking, physically stronger, to live a more challenging life, to be more exposed to the elements, to go out there and fight for things and accumulate resources so that we can provide for the ones that are closest to us. I think that's a key part of a man's journey as he gets older. It takes time to achieve these things. Therefore, as he gets older, these things are valued. Another thing is his experience, in my opinion. He learns continually throughout his life. And if his natural role is to be a leader, then he is able to pave the way for other people and his family through the experience that he's gained. So a man should always be willing to share the information that he's learned with his community, because as a whole, society just gets better. Going back to our depression point, because I think we're designed, I said, men are designed to be doing difficult things.
Yeah.
If we're not going on that purpose, I feel like we become more vulnerable to experiencing these mental health issues. I definitely, for me at least, I felt when I had a purpose in life, I felt more determined, unstoppable. And the concept of, being sad and down never really happened for me.
Yeah. So, without a purpose, who are you? And what defines you? And what makes you you?
Yeah, good questions that everyone should be asking.
Yeah. What I do is I have a idea of where I want to be, and that is the purpose, basically.
Where do you want to be?
Self-sufficient in the middle of nowhere. I think there's so many people of our, situation, let's just say, being able to sustain your very close friends and your family in a small community where you are completely self-sufficient and don't have to rely on the state for any sort of help or external help, and you're completely isolated from everyone else. But you have a very strong, solid community of people that you trust and very close friends that you trust. And that is such a fucking great dream to have, because I can envision that, and just knowing that when I get there, it is going to be such a beautiful thing. And just that feeling alone, just by manifesting it, it's like it is discipline enough,
I completely agree with that. I feel exactly the same way. I definitely believe all men should strive for self-sufficiency. A lot of peace will come from that, knowing that everything's taken care of. You're not attached to the system. COVID would have taught everyone that the system is so fragile.
Well, you don't like to think so, right?
Yeah. You know, we live in this world where we think, oh, everything's just, going to be fine.
And yet people still believe that whatever the fucking media are saying, right?
Yeah.
It is beyond thought.
It is definitely beyond thought. But, as men, we have to think ahead.
Yes.
10, 20, 30 years ahead. What is life going to be like? And how can we create the best scenario for success, and the most peaceful scenario for the ones that are linked to us, our family, our communities. And I think self-sufficiency is very important. People, for example, pensions. I don't trust that, by the time I get to my pension age, I'll have access to my funds. I don't want to rely on that hope that I'll have a pension when I'm 70 years old, if I even make it that far. And I need to know that all my assets are under control and that I can just be completely free.
You have generational wealth.
Yeah, exactly. We should all strive for generational wealth.
Yeah.
It's the only way. It's difficult.
No, you can't live off a pension, mate. You've seen people live off a pension. It's £2, £3 a day for some people, and that's impossible to live on.
Yeah.
Right? How the fuck your £3 meal deal done for the day?
After 50 years of service to the state,
yeah,
that's how you're rewarded.
Chained to the state to live in the worst conditions of your entire life. Or you could just work fucking hard right now, and by the time you get to the age of, say, 40 or 50, you're in a position where you know that you can live brilliantly.
Yeah, 10, 20 years of pain.
Yeah.
What is that across an entire lifetime?
Yeah.
It's not that much when you think about it. And you're bound to make it if you're willing to put in that work over that long period. Work hard, learn lessons from your failures. There's no way that you can't succeed on a long enough time scale. So 40 years old, we'll be out in the woods, large acres of land with our communities. That'll be a nice dream to have.
Yeah, no excuses mentality.
No.
No
We're
excuses.
getting there, man. We're definitely getting there.
Yeah.
Because obviously you lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Leverage trading. The appeal of fast money also, and the ability to make money online is very high. I think there's a reason why you see so many men in betting shops, for example, as well. Why don't you ever see women in there? Because men are always trying to make
Really
it.
good point. Really good point, that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you learnt lessons from that experience, and you maybe created systems now to increase your odds of success. The markets are very expensive. To learn lessons in the markets are very expensive. You have to lose money, experience that emotional pain to actually learn something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of it's to do with emotional discipline and planning and execution and waiting.
Yeah, I have to say I'm so thankful for everything that I've been through.
Yeah.
Even the worst points are you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the time, fucking hell, this is shit, man. Fucking get me out of here. But now, I view trading as completely emotionally driven, and you have to have your emotions stone. You're a stone.
Yeah. Again, tying back to the idea of being in control of your emotions.
Yeah.
Men are more attracted to these kinds of avenues of income generation. Men are traditionally emotionally controlled creatures. Manifest that in your real life, in the modern world.
Absolutely. And only good things can come of it. Stoicism is so important. And remaining stoic in that situation, because you could be your emotions could tell you, for example, they could say within a trading environment, they could say to you, whether you believe your thoughts or not, which is another thing entirely. But if you believe your emotions and you're oh, but what happens if I miss out on that trade? Or what happens if I miss out on this? You're going to make some terrible decisions. Whereas if you wait for the right moment that you've statistically analyzed, and it has a high probability of you making that trade, you set your stop loss and you don't change it. And this is talking
Yes.
You know how
good.
it works.
Yes, good. So you're basically, in a nutshell, saying you need discipline as well.
Discipline, yeah, absolutely.
To control your emotions and also create a plan.
Yeah.
Stick to that plan.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will deviate and mess things up completely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to form a plan that was 75% probability that the trade would succeed. And whether it didn't, and if it didn't or not, then so be it. you know, no emotions attached to it. I didn't have any anger or any like frustration. Whereas I remember when I lost that amount of money, the amount of frustration and anger that I went through, because it was a, oh shit, I've just lost this, but I got to get it back. And oh shit. And it just kept going. And then I realized, right, that's the mistake that I made there, is letting my emotions control me during trading. If I had just remained calm and under no emotional dysregulation, I would have been absolutely fine. So it's
very valuable lessons to have learned.
Yeah.
I think always realizing there's another opportunity is what helps me realize that I don't need to chase every single opportunity out there, every single trade. And like you said, the what if of that other trade. So I would just think patience, another important part of being a man. You know what's interesting on social media is it's almost like everybody's rich, just because you see so much content there of like these teenagers. And
do you or I flex though?
No flexing at all.
I don't fucking flex, mate.
I find it unnatural. I don't get it.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just find it very strange how people must have to show that they have X amount of money.
But there aren't that many people with that much money.
No.
The average salary in the UK is like, what, 30k? And the amount of millionaires in the world is what? I don't know. It's got to be like 1 million or something.
Yeah.
Or 21 million, I think it was. I can't remember.
I used to flex, I have to say that.
Oh,
but
really?
then obviously I just was like, this is fucking stupid Instagram bollocks. But now I see people, I laugh at it because it's, you know, I can see why they're doing it. It's just so funny.
Yeah,
it's like you're working a 30 grand job and you're flexing your car or your house that you're tied. Now you've bought a house and now you're tied down to a mortgage that you have no option of but to pay off for the rest of your life.
Huge liability.
Yeah.
I don't want a mortgage.
No.
You know, I think a man should be humble. You know, at least until he makes it.
Absolutely.
You know, if you haven't made it, you're making life difficult for yourself by not being humble, because you're just adding more pressure onto yourself for no reason, really. There's so many people promoting courses and stuff on social media, and I made this amount of money in my life by my course. You know, the majority of people, you know, they get their first paycheck and they're just instantly thinking, oh, okay, I've got to start selling a course or something like that. Not the majority, but I would say I've seen it's quite common.
It's really strange.
It's very strange. It's faking it till you make it is something that's happening quite a lot.
Do you know what? These self-help books and everything like this, they're written by people that have those issues themselves.
Well, as in like in that moment in time, they haven't overcome it yet.
No. Because they can see it for what it is. You know, and they want to work on it, but they can't take the responsibility to do it.
But then they're writing a self-help book to try and advise on resolving that issue, but they haven't resolved it themselves yet.
No, but they want to resolve it. They want to resolve it. They just haven't yet.
Again, this is why the media is such nonsense, and just the information you consume has to be the highest of quality.
Yeah.
You have to be able to vet people as a man. God, I want to understand how you kind of addressed your autism. Is it autism or Asperger's?
Autism.
Autism, okay.
Autistic spectrum disorder, yeah.
I see.
I would say up until very, you know, almost quite recently, still understanding social cues and everything like this was so difficult, mate. And I used to just speak just with no filter whatsoever. It was hilarious. And I still do. I still do a little bit. But with the introduction of psychedelics and, you know, more specifically mushrooms, just bridged the gap because the neural synaptic connections that you make within your brain across your entire brain occur. And there's more crossover with different parts of the brain. So everything starts to work.
So magic mushrooms
normally again.
Kind of manipulate your brain chemistry. I'm completely a layperson in this area.
I wouldn't say brain chemistry. I'd say brain physiology, because there are different parts of the brain which are involved in different, aspects of what you're doing. So your motor skills, your speech skills from the prefrontal cortex, your amygdala, which we don't want to be focusing on because people that have a huge amount of blood supply within their amygdala are often living in quite a stressful environment. It's like the brainstem. They're very reactive to their environment and they're very anxious, high in cortisol. But if the blood is more towards the prefrontal cortex, that's when you start thinking with your human brain. And that's when you're making very logical, thought-through decisions. Because your brain at the amygdala thinks, which is, just below your neck, it thinks 5 times faster than the human brain.
Really?
So it overrides it all the time. Whereas the human brain takes 5, or the prefrontal cortex.
So you're saying,
it's five
if I'm
times
understanding
slower.
correctly, so the amygdala is more to do with emotional reaction and creating physical changes as a result of that, whereas the prefrontal cortex is more logical driven. Oh, interesting. And then magic mushrooms kind of helped enhance the logical side and calm down the emotional side.
I guess it was almost like a disparity between 2 sides of the brain. So there was no discussion going on between. But then taking psychedelics, there's just a really profound understanding and connectivity and knowing that everything is connected in a way. And you could get seriously deep with this. But when I took them, I was like, right, so everything is as one, and everything, we're all connected. We're all from the same being. Well, not being, but like the same thing. We're all created from the same source. And that's beautiful for me anyway. Yeah.
And you found like a immediate change in how you approach the world and your perception of the world?
Not immediate. It was the next day, really. Yeah. There's a very similar story from Paul Stamets, who's like this mushroom guy. And the first time that he took them, he had a stutter. He couldn't speak at all. He couldn't really say anything.
I see.
He was like, to the average person down the street, he couldn't even say more than hello.
Wow.
He took them and, probably over a significant amount of 5 grams, let's say. And then the next day, he walked down the street, he spoke to this woman and he was like, hi, how are you? He had a completely normal conversation with them.
How much would you need to have an effect? Or are there varying levels of effects?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's highly dependent on you as a person and what you want to gain from it. But the gains from it are almost quite mystical. And I could talk about the placebo effect, and I think this has so much to do with it as well. So there's a reason why the placebo effect exists. That's because people believe that they're taking a drug that is going to change them. And because they have that belief, the pharmacology, the pharmacy of our body and our brain actually manufactures things and substances and drug substances which change our physiology. And that's why there is a significant remark in the conclusions of the study.
So a placebo effect is actually a valid response then.
Yeah.
And if something initiates that effect, it's worthwhile then. That's really interesting.
So if we innately just believe something, we're changing our physiology. Because from serotonin, you can manufacture benzodiazepines. And benzodiazepines are anti-anxiety drugs. And then from there, you can manufacture God knows what. But it cascades. And because you have a belief in something and you're manifesting something to what you would like to be or what you would like to achieve, you're putting yourself in that situation that you be in. And because your brain believes that you're in that situation, it starts manufacturing chemicals and substances which get you to that scenario. And that's why manifesting works.
That's insane. So you're essentially saying
it's absolutely insane.
With any area of your life, as long as you believe it, your body will biologically adapt and respond to your belief.
Yeah. There's so many clinical trials on this.
Really?
Yeah, it's called nocebo.
Nocebo.
Yeah.
But no matter what's going on in your life, realize that the power of your belief is critical to your success.
Yes.
You're only hurting yourself if you don't believe and have the confidence in yourself to achieve something. If your body really biologically responds to your belief, you've got to take advantage of that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
You've got to truly believe it.
Yeah. What the best and worst thing about being a man is. Did you have any thoughts on that at all yet? Or
the best thing is that you have the opportunity to really take control of your life. And that can also be the worst thing. Because at the time it feels really difficult. But if you look back on it in 30 years' time and you say, oh, I could have lived a really shit life, or actually also could have really lived a really shit life and continue to live a shit life. But because I chose the shit life, I'm here now.
yeah.
And I'm in such a much better place than I would have been.
Yeah, very good. I like that. For me, as I've said before, the best and worst thing about being a man is just knowing that nobody is going to come save you. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, it sucks, but also it gets you off your ass to go and take action and take control over your life.
So true. Gotta love Athenaeus, mate.
So you've been having it now for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, do you know what? It is one of the most refreshing drinks. I've never taken anything else like this. And it really does help with cognition and remaining mentally clear. And I just think it's bloody good, mate.
Yeah, so
I
you're
really
saying
like
from like your background of having Asperger's or being on the spectrum, you found that it's kind of helped create more focus?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Interesting, because it has lion's mane mushroom in there.
Allows it to form those neural connections.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. I'm glad it's been having that impact. You know, Athenaeus, you know, it's a superfood blend that was specially formulated for men. It was actually created in response to like this scenario where testosterone levels and fertility are declining. So that's why it's specially formulated for men. However, you know, with your experience, you know, it highlights that it's, you know, an all-in-one blend in a way. I added in, well, we formulated multiple ingredients into this that aren't just to do with sexual health. So, you know, lion's mane mushrooms in there for focus and cognition. So, you know, it's got 16 different ingredients in there.
It's really good.
Like,
yeah. And it tastes good as well, right? It's got ashwagandha in, which I really like. It just chills you the hell out.
Yeah.
But you also have like things like spirulina in, which are just generally good for you in every regard. Ginger, also good. Lemon juice, brilliant in terms of regulating your pH in your body. Fenugreek obviously increases testosterone.
A lot of studies behind these ingredients.
I think definitely.
Still early days, but